Hello and welcome to this episode of my advanced English podcast. I just got home. I just got back home. Why? Why did I just get back home? I just walked home. I walked home. I walked home from the physiotherapist. I had to go to the physiotherapist today. So earlier, I had to leave the house. I had to walk to the physiotherapist. And then when my session, because I had an appointment with the physiotherapist, I had a day and time today at 12 p.m. A day and time, an appointment with the physiotherapist. And because I had an appointment, I had to go. I had to be there at that time today. And I had a session with the physiotherapist. I was there for half an hour, 30 minutes. My session was 30 minutes long. My session was half an hour long. And then afterwards, when it finished, I had to walk back home. I had to walk home. And today was my first session with the physiotherapist, but it won't be my last session. In the future, I'll have more appointments, more days, more dates and times when I have to go to the physiotherapist. So today I had to go, and in the future, maybe in 2 weeks, I'll have to go again. I'll have to go another time again to the physiotherapist. I have to go, in total, I have to go at least 6 times. I have 6 appointments with the physiotherapist. And the first appointment was today. I had to go today. And the next appointment will be in maybe, I don't have the appointment yet actually. I have 6 sessions with the physiotherapist, but I haven't booked the appointments yet. I don't have the appointments, the dates and the times on those days. I don't have them booked yet. But maybe in about 2 weeks, I'll have the second session, the next session. So in about 2 weeks, I'll have to go again to the physiotherapist. But I don't really have to go because I'm the one that decided to go to the physiotherapist. I'm the one that decided to book sessions with the physiotherapist because I have a problem with my knee. I have maybe an injury, some damage to my right knee, and a physiotherapist is a type of, like a doctor. You go there and hopefully they can help me to fix this issue I have. So I didn't have to book an appointment with the physiotherapist. No one forced me to. No one else forced me to. But I did book appointments. And even now, I don't have to go. I could skip. I could skip the appointment. I could skip the session. No one is forcing me to go to the physiotherapist. No one forced me to go today. But in a way, in a certain way of looking at it, looking at the situation, I did have to go, because at one point earlier, I decided to go to the physiotherapist, and because I made the decision, then I have to stick to that decision. I have to stick to my decision. I have to go. I have to follow through on my decision. Some people say that we don't really have to do anything. No one can really force us to do anything. Some people even say that a slave, a person who is someone else's slave, who is owned by another person, still has the choice not to obey the person that owns them. Some people would say a slave, even a slave, has a choice. A slave doesn't really have to do anything that they don't want to do. There'll be consequences if they choose not to do what their owner wants them to do. There'll be consequences, but that doesn't mean that they have to do it. That's a sort of extreme way of looking at things. Because it's true that, in a way, we don't really have to do anything. But there's clearly, I think, a difference between a situation like a slave, where there's violence involved, where the consequences of not doing something is violence, is being attacked, is being killed, maybe. There's a difference between a situation like that and a situation like today, where I could have chosen not to go to my appointment. There would have been consequences if I hadn't have gone. If I don't go, there are consequences, negative consequences maybe, that I don't want to happen. So maybe even if I don't want to go, I still go because I don't want those negative consequences to happen. But the situation is clearly different. Because even though there are consequences, there's no violence. No one's going to really force me to do something that I don't want to do. It's my decision to go. I don't have to go in the real sense. But if I don't want to break my own decision, break my own promise to myself, because when I booked this appointment, I made a promise to myself. And in a way, I made a promise to the physiotherapist, because if I don't go, it could be an inconvenience for them. There's consequences for me if I don't go, but there's also consequences for them. I could be wasting their time. I waste the physiotherapist's time if I say, I'm going to come. If I say to them, I'm going to come on this date, and at this time, if I book an appointment with them, but I don't go to that appointment, then I'm wasting their time. So if I don't want to waste other people's time, I have to go to the appointments that I've made. I have to do the things that I've promised to do. Here's another example. School. Children have to go to school. In most countries in the world, kids have to go to school. A lot of the kids don't want to go to school. Maybe they've never thought about it. Maybe because they have no choice, because they're forced to go to school. Their parents and the government, the society we live in, forces children to go to school. Maybe most children haven't thought about whether they really want to. They haven't thought about if they really want to go to school, because they're not aware that they even have a choice. They know that they have to go, even if they don't want to go to school. And this is a different situation to me with the physiotherapist, because no child, no kid signs a contract, no kid makes an agreement to go to school. In most countries, kids have to go to school between certain ages, starting maybe at 5 years of age and finishing at maybe 15 or 16. Everyone has to go to school. Between the ages of 5 and 16, it's different in every country, but I think it's usually about 15 to 16 years old. Between these ages, we all have to go to school. Maybe the consequences of not going to school won't be violence. We're not going to be beaten. We're not going to be attacked. We're not going to be put in jail if we don't go to school. But still, we're forced to go. There's no other choice. And we're forced to go to school because we're physically forced. We'll be physically taken to school. We'll be forced physically to go to school. Our parents will physically force us, bring us to school. Maybe. And if they don't do it, the government, the state, the police, depending on the country, they have the power to force the parents to bring their kids to school. So a child has to go to school. Children between the age of 5 and 16 have to go to school. Not everyone has to go to university. After finishing school, after graduating from school, some people can go on to university. They can go on to study at university. After finishing school, they can go to university. But no one has to do this, not in the same sense that kids have to go to school. No one has to study at university. It's their choice. But if someone chooses to go to university, if they've applied for university, if the university accepts them, gives them the chance to study, and the person begins to study at university, maybe they have to go to class. They didn't have to apply for university. They didn't have to study at university. But now that they are studying at university, they have to go to class. They have to go to the lectures. They have to go and listen to lectures. They have to do homework. They have to study. They have to take exams. But they have to do this in the same sense that today I had to go to the physiotherapist. No one was forcing me. In a university, no one's going to force you to take the exams. No one's going to force you to go to class. It's not like for children. It's not like when children are forced to go to school. No one's going to force you to do anything in university. But you still have to do things because you decided that you were going to do them. You decided to enroll, to apply for, and then enroll in university. And because you've done that, because you made that decision, because you made a promise to yourself, in a sense, that you're going to study, you're going to finish, to complete university. In that sense, that means that you have to go to the classes. If you want to graduate from university, if you want to finish your studies, then you have to go to classes. You have to take the exams. You have to pass the exams. You have to study for the exams. Maybe it wasn't entirely your decision to apply for university. Maybe you were under pressure. Maybe it was your parents, your family, that were pressuring you to go to university after finishing school. Maybe you didn't really want to do it, but you felt you had to. You felt you had to do it because others wanted you to do it. You didn't want to do it. You didn't want to study, but maybe your parents or other family members were pressuring you to do it. They were pushing you to do it. They wanted you. They expected you to do it. They expected it of you. They expected of you that you would study after finishing school. So you felt you had to do it. That's another sense of having to do something. Maybe it's not about your own decision. It's not about a promise you've made to yourself or a promise you've made to someone else. It's about pressure. It's about the expectations of other people, what other people expect of you. If someone else expects you to do something, maybe you feel like you have to do it. Maybe you feel like you have no choice, even though you know really you do have a choice. Really, you could choose not to do it, even though you know you won't be forced physically to do it. You feel pressured to do it. You feel like you have to do it because it's what other people expect of you. Often parents expect their kids to do very well at school, to try very hard at school, to study very hard at school, so that they can then go on to university after finishing school. Often this is what is expected. That is what is expected of kids from their parents. And the kids feel they have to do that because of the expectations of their parents. There's many different ways in which we have to do something. There's many different ways, many different reasons why we feel that we have to do something. I didn't book my sessions. I didn't book today. Sorry. I didn't book today's appointment with the physiotherapist for no reason. I didn't make a decision for no reason and now feel like I have to go just because I made that decision. There's reasons why I made that decision. There's reasons why I should go. There's reasons why it's a good idea to go to the physiotherapist. The reasons I mentioned at the start of the podcast are that I have pain in my knee. I have a knee injury. There's damage to my knee, to my right knee. There's some issue with my knee. I can't walk properly. It's uncomfortable for me when I'm walking. It's painful for me to walk. I have problems. I have difficulties. I have trouble walking. That's why I booked an appointment with the physiotherapist. So I don't just feel I have to go because I made a decision, but if I want my problem to go away, if I want my knee to get better, then I have to go. I have to go to the physiotherapist to get this problem fixed, to get it solved. To solve the problem with my knee, to recover from my knee injury, I have to go to the physiotherapist. Well, maybe, because maybe it doesn't work. Maybe it turns out to be a waste of time. Maybe it ends up being a waste of time. I don't know yet. If I knew in advance, if I was certain that it would be a waste of time, if I was certain that going to the physiotherapist wouldn't do any good, if I was certain that it wouldn't help me at all with my knee problem, then I wouldn't feel like I have to go, because what's the point of going? There's no point of going, so why go? I don't have to go. But because I think maybe, possibly, hopefully, I hope the physiotherapist can help me, then I feel like I have to go because I need help to solve this problem. So there's many reasons why we feel that we have to do things. There's many different ways, many different senses in which we have to do something. We say that. I say, I have to do this, I have to do that. But I can mean it in many different ways. I can mean it in many different senses. It can mean many different things. The reason I feel that I have to do something can be different. What do you have to do? What are some of the things that you have to do? Did you have to do anything today? Before listening to this podcast, was there anything that you had to do? Was there anything that you had to get done, get finished, before you could listen to this podcast? Maybe you're a student and you felt like you had to study a bit before listening to this podcast. Of course, you didn't have to. Maybe you could have done it after listening to this podcast, after it finishes. But for some reason, you felt that it would be better to get it done before listening to the podcast. Maybe you knew that if you left it till after the podcast, until after listening, that you wouldn't end up doing it. So maybe you knew that if you really want to get it done today, you have to do it first. So in that way, you felt you had to do it. You had to get it done. Maybe there are things you have to do after finishing this podcast. Maybe there are other things left that you still have to get done today. You can't leave them for tomorrow. You have to get them done today. In previous podcasts, I've mentioned how I have to go to work and I have to take a shower before going to work. No one's forcing me to take a shower, but because I know I would be uncomfortable if I didn't take a shower, then I feel that I have to take a shower before going to work. Do you have to take a shower? Do you have to take a shower before going to work? Do you have to take a shower in the mornings before going to work, or before going to school, or before going to university? Or is it something you can leave until after? Leave until later in the day? Leave until getting back from work, getting back from school? Is it something you can leave until the evening, until night time? Or is it something you have to get done before? What are the things that you feel you have to get done straight away? What are the things you have to get done first? And what are the things that you can leave until later? What are the things that you don't have to get done right away? You don't have to get them done immediately. You can leave them until later. They're not so urgent. They're not so important. You have to get done the really important things. Those things, the really important ones, you have to get done immediately, right away. I'm sure that every day of your life, there must be at least a few things that you think to yourself, you think you have to get done. I think everyone has at least one or two things each day that they have to get done, that they feel like they have to get done, that they think, I have to do that. I have to get that done. Today, for me, in the morning, when I woke up, I thought, today I have to go to the physiotherapist. I have to record a podcast. I don't have to record the podcast before going to the physiotherapist. I can do it after. I can leave it till after. I feel like maybe today I have to, or I should, I feel like I should also record a beginner video because I haven't been doing enough of them lately. I haven't been recording enough beginner videos lately. So I feel like I should record one. I don't have to. I don't feel like I have to record one, but I feel like it would be better if I did. I should record a video, a beginner video. Maybe I have to. Maybe if I want to keep growing my YouTube channel, maybe if I want to keep my audience happy, if my goal is to keep my audience happy, to keep my audience growing in size, if that's what I want, then maybe I feel like I have to record a video today. I should record a video. But we'll see, because it's not something that I have to do. I could do it. I should do it. It would be better if I did. I should. All right, I'm going to leave it there. I'm not going to make this podcast any longer than it already is. It's long enough. I can leave it there. I don't have to record really, really long podcasts. This is enough. This is long enough, I think. So I'll leave it there. All right. I hope that was useful, and you will hear me in the next podcast. All right. See ya.